Well, thank you so much, Camilla, for the nice introduction. And thank you for the opportunity to come and speak about our project at this conference and at this session. Buttock CO2 CCS project has its roots from the well-established industrial cluster at Øra that you can see behind me. This area is located outside of Fredrikstad in the southeast of Norway, approximately an hour from here. The companies at this area have a long history of cooperating with one another for an optimal exploitation of energy and material flows as in a circular economy. They also have a great cooperation with the local and the regional municipalities and academia. This is pretty unique. It makes a great foundation for a CCS project, and it makes a great foundation for the establishment of a CCS cluster. I must say that I'm very proud to represent this region and this project. Buttock CO2 cluster consists of 16 partners, as Camilla said. In addition to investments from the partners, the project is funded by Climate, a program that provides financial support for research development, pilots, and demonstration of CCS technologies. This project has a budget of 7.6 million Norwegian kroners in total. It's a feasibility study led by Paul Mikkelsen, and it has a 2-year research timeline where we intend to look into anything needed for a CCS cluster to fully operate and to be able to transport to the Norwegian storage. Central to this project, Fortum Oslo Varme's project at Klemetsrud. They will guide us in our attempt to develop a cost-efficient CCS. Their knowledge and experience in choosing technology, building infrastructure, and linking to a harbor, and then to storage, will give our project a chance to move faster in the right direction. We have already started mapping characterizing the emission sources of the waste-to-energy plants of Frevar and Kviteby and BioL, which you can see in the photo behind me, and the world's most advanced biorefinery, Borregaard at Sarpsborg, and the most modern production mill of Norsk Senter in Halden. The next step will be looking into the development and the infrastructure of the CCS hub at Borg Havn. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's a busy harbor that aims to be the most versatile, sustainable, and future-oriented harbor by the Oslo Fjord. I could go on about this because I'm really excited about this, and I can see this project as being the solution to making the future more sustainable. At my job at the Norwegian Center of Circular Economy, I work with lots of businesses and organizations that focus on designing out waste and pollution, keeping products and materials in use, renewable energy, recycling, and so forth. But I've also learned that we still need a safe and environmental-friendly treatment of residual that cannot or should not be recycled. In those cases, like in Klemetsrud, capturing the CO2 is of importance, and if we're serious about reaching the Paris Agreement. We aim to develop a business model. We're going to contribute to the development of small-scale technology, transport, as well as sustainable use, which I will not get into at this point. And we're going to collaborate and cooperate within the cluster and regionally and build the necessary infrastructure to access the Norwegian CO2 storage. We're going to look into how to modularize the CCS technologies and how to reach an optimal integration to different source facilities. 630,000 tons a year, lots of CO2 potentially not reaching the atmosphere. If we manage to capture this, transport it to the Norwegian storage and store it, this will make a huge difference. And if many other emission sources do the same, well, we just might save the future. I borrowed this illustration that you can see behind me from the application of the Northern Lights PCI project. It shows the connection between the capture initiatives in Europe that are part of the Northern Lights, transport and storage site of the Norwegian continental shelf. And there you can see the location of Buttock CO2. We are just about first in line. I recently made aware that this map now have many more capture initiatives entering, more projects that will use the Norwegian infrastructure. And I'd like to honor the work of all the people at the Northern Lights and Equinor who have meetings all over Europe to build the bridges between these initiatives so that we together can do this. We are now in the middle of making history. This is an opportunity for Norway to create a good and concrete basis for huge cuts in CO2 emissions, both on our own and for Europe. We now need to make the necessary commitment to invest in the CCS infrastructure. There are uncertainties when it comes to CCS. In our project, we are not certain that our first attempt to capture CO2 will be the best and most efficient. That's why we have this feasibility study. We are not certain that the ways of transporting the CO2 that we know right now will be the best. That's why we need research and testing. Hey, we're not even certain that we will find what we hope for, but we will not find out if we don't try. Do we dare not to? Let's commit, each and every one of us, to do whatever necessary to make the future more sustainable in any way possible, and let's do this together. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.